And in the Septuagint, the Greek translations of the Tetragrammaton, God's divine name, it's always used with this Greek word kurios. And here it's applied to Yeshua. You see, the identity and marker of a follower of Yeshua is that somebody has taken confession upon him. They have called upon his name. They have said, you know what? I need to change my conduct of who I am. I want to be associated with you, and I call upon you. John says, to those who received him, to those who believed in his name, he gave them the right to become the children of God. And the question is, have we taken that confession of faith in him? Have you ever confessed? Have you ever called upon the name of the Lord? Have you ever said, God, save me from my sins? You know, maybe people have been coming to the congregation for a while, or maybe people have been involved in various church backgrounds or whatnot, but have you ever had a point where you called upon the name of the Lord and you said, I need to change. I want to take your identity upon myself. That's what calling upon the name of the Lord entails. It means changing who we are and being associated with the person that we're calling upon. And Yeshua is referred to as kurios. Again, Rav Shaul is applying this concept of lordship to Yeshua. He is to be equated with the God of Israel. Have you confessed? And he says, to all of those who call upon the name of the Lord Yeshua in every place, both theirs and ours. Now, he makes it reference to the Lord's name. I think what Rav Shaul is just saying is that in every place. In other words, this is a congregation without walls. You know, in the Hebrew Bible, in the Tanakh there, we know that the sacred place is Jerusalem. We know that the temple is the sacred of that, and we know that the Holy of Holies is the sacred of that, and we know that Israel is more holy than the rest of the nations. But one thing that is important to keep in mind here is that God's Kahilah, his assembly, and of course this is something that Rav Shaul says was always in the foreground, even in the Tanakh, is that here we have a congregation without walls. There is a specific congregation in Corinth, but Paul recognizes that the Corinthians are not just isolated there in Corinth, they are connected to people throughout the world. And we need to keep in mind that we are a part of a community that is not just associated with Israel, not just associated with the United States, but is connected throughout the world. Now it's important to keep that in mind, because one of the things that in Corinth that was going on is that there were these factions and divisions for various purposes, and we're going to get into that as we continue to go through. There's one of the reasons why I always love to pray for all of our sister congregations is because in the Messianic movement there has been so much factionalism, there has been so much division, and we need to keep in mind that while, yes, we each have our own unique ministry, we are a part of a greater Kahilah, the greater assembly that involves Jew and Gentile and all ethnic and racial groups, and we all come together in the name of the Lord Yeshua. What was important to Rav Shaul? Now, I'm not dismissing the fact that we have a Messianic Jewish identity, and that is true. And again, where does Paul begin? He begins in the synagogue in Corinth, and those people didn't stop being Jewish, and they didn't stop practicing Judaism, their faith within Yeshua. Yet they can still, with Gentiles who want to absorb in, still associate them with them. In fact, it's in Messiah Yeshua that Jew and Gentile can associate, because if Gentiles are confessing their faith in Yeshua and are abandoning their idolatry and giving up their pagan practices, they can now have fellowship and table fellowship with Jewish people. Idolatry and all of these issues are no longer an issue. And Yeshua is in the ministry, in the business of tearing down strongholds and barriers amongst people groups. And that doesn't matter if it's within your work setting or within your family. Yeshua is in the business of tearing down barriers.